This is Dipper and Mabel Pint, the mystery twins. Dipper is the clever smart one looking for mystery, and Mabel is the silly fun one looking for romance. They thought they'd be spending their whole summer in a boring town with their great uncle Stan, who's a con man and mayhaps a fugitive in a few states. But it all changes when Dipper finds a journal hidden in the woods that contains documentations of strange and paranormal activities in the small town of Gravity Falls, ranging from gnomes to zombies to the end of the world. You join these 12-year-olds on a journey of self-reflection and adventure as they uncover the secrets of the falls, like how it wasn't founded by the town's rich family, and in fact it was the 8.5th president of the United States who was erased from history, or a ghost-haunted store, or a ghost-haunted mansion, or an underground bunker prepared for the apocalypse with a shape-shifting monster on the loose, or fighting Monica from Doki Doki, or fighting Ryo from Street Fighter, or 10 clones of yourself made out of paper, or a secret society keeping the town's secret under wraps by erasing their memories, or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, or a sarcastic, snazzy, godlike triangle hell-bent on causing the apocalypse. This is Gravity Falls. Guys. I really like Gravity Falls. I know this isn't a surprise. I've been posting a lot of edits on my Instagram stories. I've been spreading it to my friends like it's the gospel. I've even been trying to buy the Book of Bill everywhere, but everywhere I go it's out of stock. So I resorted to, other methods.
Come at a terrible price.
$20? I'll just take them when you're not looking.
What?
I said I was gonna rob you.
Yeah, I think you got it. I think bro likes Gravity Falls. Nah, bro, I love Gravity Falls. It's one of the reasons I want to live in a cabin in Ashland, Oregon. I have that strong of an attachment to this show. And recently, it's been rising back from the dead. 8 long years and suddenly there's a resurgence of Gravity Falls. And seeing as I finished it recently for the 3rd time, I thought, hey, I want to talk about it. I know some people who have had it on their list and keep putting it off. Some people who don't like the art style. Some people who disregard it completely without seeing it. So I decided to make this video an attempt to sell people on this show while also showing my appreciation to said show by talking about what I found making this video. So without further ado, let's talk Gravity Falls. This is a show with a whole lot of mystery, world building, and actual funny characters. Stan is a crazy old fraud who's hiding a lot more than he leads on. Dipper is a determined, some would say to be determined, investigator who manages to showcase true courage in the face of danger and manipulation. Mabel's an optimistic ball of joy that you'll need at the end of the world. Wendy is the calm, cool one, and Seuss is Seuss. Gravity Falls touches on the touchy subject of growing up, and more surprisingly, the subjects of true masculinity and individuality. I know. The kids show told me what it takes to be a man. Throughout the summer, Dipper has to learn to accept himself for who he is. Whether it's the way he sounds, the way he looks, the way he does things, he has to embarrass himself and humble himself to step up as a man, learning to not only rely on others but also rely on himself. And Mabel, in a similar fashion, has to stop seeking validation through boys and the popular stuck-up girl and accept that it's okay to be different and learn to be selfless. It's okay to be silly and different. You don't have to be like everyone else. And Seuss? I actually don't really know. I'm not exactly sure, but I love him though. I love Seuss.
Mabel knit Zeus a pig costume.
I like it.
And we use Zeus as a human sacrifice.
I like it.
Gravity Falls is about letting your childhood grow, that things can't stay the same forever, and like it or not, things have to change. Even though change is scary sometimes, change is good. And what better way to showcase that than to give you a family feud filled with mysterious portals, a double life, and the end of the world! This is so f***ing good, bro. It has that thrill of mystery and supernatural elements. Think Scooby-Doo meets Supernatural meets Ben 10. Weird combo, but like, stay with me here. You know, a good selling point I could just say to people is, guys, this is Stranger Things if it was good. And fellas, this show is actually really funny. Like, rewatching it, I hadn't realized how funny this shit was.
Of mystery.
Stan Pines.
The tax collector. You found me. Which one of these is the trap door?
Heck, even now, I spent like an hour on the show's ARG website and reading the fact that Grunkle Stan sold his heart medicine for kids and told them it's metal-flavored candy made me laugh a little too hard. This guy has a list of crimes and all of them are hilarious.
You call that Ben Franklin? He looks like a woman. Uh-oh. Right, like I'm gonna fall for that. Finally, a good reason to punch a teenager in the face. Whoa, children fighting. I can sell this.
This show is comedy gold. But now let's talk about the deeper lore and story.
Paranormal town stuff is just part of gift shop lore. Sells more tickets, you know.
Boop, 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 boop. Swag.
The Shack is this hut in the woods that Grunkle Stan uses to scam people. Inspired by the real-life House of Mystery in Vortex, Oregon, the Mystery Shack has mysteries of its own, like a dusty room with a carpet that switches your brain with a person next to you, or a bottomless pit, or whatever that is, And after the Mystery Shack comes the town of Gravity Falls itself, which has things like gnomes, a witch in the mountains, dinosaur in a cave, or cursed possessed video games. Things keep getting weirder and weirder as the summer in Gravity Falls continues, and we get a hint as to what it all means. Why is this child in possession of a journal that can help him summon abnormal powers and a triangle demon? Where did he get it from? And why are there 3 of them? If this kid has the second one and this one has the third one, where is the first one? Who has the first journal, and more importantly, who wrote them? It's a web of mysteries that gets untangled with each episode, with lots of foreshadowed details sprinkled all throughout the show. Now, there's a certain episode in the second season, one that was built up since the finale of the first season, and throughout this episode you aren't exactly sure what to believe, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's such a well-executed episode that tests both the protagonist and the audience on all they've learned throughout the previous episodes. To the point that the trust no one motto from the journal Dipper found in the first episode becomes apparent now more than ever. But is it true? Can you really not trust anyone, even your own family? This episode ends with a jaw-dropping reveal, with a follow-up episode that answers all of the questions both the characters and the audience have had since the show started. It serves as a mid-season finale and sets up the show's highest point and climax. And
My ex-wife still misses me, but her aim is getting better.
obviously, I'm not going to intentionally spoil one of the best cartoons in the 21st century, so if you still haven't seen Gravity Falls, I urge you to go do it now. Please, you won't regret it. It's a great show. Heck, I know as the creator of the show, Alex Hirsch himself, whether intentionally or unintentionally, put just enough that most people who are still getting in the show today have not been spoiled. So, you know, pop off. One thing I really love about the show is how rewatchable it is. There's a bunch of blink and you miss it details sprinkled throughout it all. It's only 40 episodes. I remember it being a lot longer than that. I was sad to only rewatch 40 episodes. Bro, I need at least 100. I recently turned 18 and saw a bunch of posts about people saying that right now Mabel and Dipper would be 25. And I was like, wow. And decided to rewatch the whole show for the 3rd time. When I first started the show as a kid, I had such a different mindset than I do now. I used to hate Mabel. I thought she was extremely selfish and got in the way of Dipper's quote-unquote bigger goals. But now she's my favorite character. Hell, I'd say Dipper can be more selfish than her sometimes. But the point wasn't to hate one or prefer the other. The point was, grow up. They're just kids. I don't know how anyone in their right mind can make a 17-minute long video on how a child character is terrible for being a child. No, and what do you know? They're an alleged pedophile. Remember when I just said grow up? Well, that's one of the main core themes of Gravity Falls. Like, yes, you don't want the summer to end. You don't want to have to wake up at 6 a.m. every day for school for 6 months. And we certainly don't want to leave the magic and mystery of this summer behind. But things have to change. I change. And sometimes change is good. Your eyes open for a wider perspective. You grow up. You get a better understanding of things. Of people. Gravity Falls taught me that people have to change, that you gotta move forward and get out of your comfort zone, and that you won't be alone, that there will be people there for you. People that will help you grow and shape your future in ways that you can't even imagine. The characters feel authentic because in a way, they are real people. They were all based off real people. Alex Hirsch, the creator of the show, based Seuss on a friend he made in Cal Arts, and he based the twins off of him and his sister, and he based Grunkle Stan from his grandfather. Hell, his grandfather's name is Stan. This is a show with a lot of heart, sincerity, comedy, and best of all, mystery. So go on, watch, or hell, even rewatch Gravity Falls. It's a damn good show. A show that shaped a lot of who I am as a person. A show that I appreciate more than probably anything I've ever watched out there. Like, if this show were to somehow come back, I'd cancel all my plans to stay at home and watch another episode. It's that special to me.
Oh, Gravity Falls, it is good to be back! Pine Tree has reoccurring nightmares of overhearing a fight between his parents he wasn't supposed to hear. Why do you think they were in a rush to get the kids out for the summer? And they got to exist in the one timeline where they kept their bodily organs out of the infinite where they were erased, shattered, frozen, and dismembered before they could have ever made it to 13!
This is a rabbit hole. An innocent kids show on the surface is way more than it seems below the surface. So many secrets and mysteries for Dipper and Mabel to find during the show, but when it ended, so did the mystery twins. And then you, yes, you, and me, and all of us who were watching, had the task of uncovering what was left after the show ended. And yes, as sad as it was for the show to be over, boy, let me tell you. You got access to the journal Dipper had. You got to go out in the real world and find clues as to what happened after the events of the finale and hints as to where a certain snazzy triangle is up to. And now... It's kind of hard for me to talk about Gravity Falls without talking about the secret findings, which would also mean spoiling the show. Because it's one of those things that make the show so fun. It leaves a lot for you to find, mysteries that the audience can go looking for and be part of a larger community while they're at it. It's both a show and a Dipper Pine simulator. After the show ended, the showrunner and creator of the show created what is known as the CIPHER hunt, a scavenging hunt that required you going international. Going to multiple locations around the world collecting clues just so you can find the triangle dude. And now a similar phenomenon is reoccurring with the Book of Bill and this is now website.com. Hell, even a series of lo-fi music. You get to experience what it's like looking for cookie crumb clues and piecing them all together, trying to figure out what happened at one point or what will happen in another. It's like the CIPHER hunt but like better because you don't need to leave your chair this time. And in the words of the great MATPAT, there is more lore! Oh yeah, MATPAT's in this too.
Hello, Internet! What? This time, you're on your own.
Bro's been having a field day with retirement, what the f***? Guys, Gravity Falls did it before the Walton Files, and the Mandela Catalog decided it was cool. I can't say a lot of shows go this far on world building to the point it makes you feel like you're part of its world, especially after it ended. An ARG, yes, we love ARGs. Gravity Falls is filled to the brim with them. A lot of people are getting into the show right now are doing it because the entire fandom has gone nuts and went, "Ah, there's another season coming! Gravity Falls is back! It's coming back!" You know, like that one crazy old man with a sign saying it's the end times. But for good reason. Gravity Falls ended on such an open-ended note that it doesn't really feel like it's the end and more like a goodbye and see you later. You had a comic book release that was basically unaired episodes. You had the entirety of the third journal, which explains most of the mysteries in Gravity Falls and serves as a bit of a prequel, while also having Dipper's own notes in it. And now we have the Book of Bill, which is the first book to take place after the events of Gravity Falls. It continues Bill's story and even gives us his background origin, as well as hinting at the redemption of Bill, along with the website that lets you access McGucket's computer and even you-know-who's lab. It offers more lore about what happened after Gravity Falls, and even has cute character Easter eggs. As well as even hinting at a potential prequel. And that's why the fans came back and were like, "We are so fucking back!" With stuff like Adventure Time, Futurama, Phineas and Ferb, Foster Home for Imaginary Friends, and even the 90s X-Men getting revived, people are also expecting Gravity Falls to also get revived. And honestly, they might be onto something. Or onto nothing sandwich. Alex Hirsch has said again and again that Season 3 is not something he wants to do, that it was his decision to end Gravity Falls with 2 seasons, and even now, when asked, he always says no, Season 3 is not happening. It's been 8 years since the end of Gravity Falls, and fans are still clinging to the hope of a revival. And I honestly get why. The show ended with a letter that says "see you next summer" for God's sake. The show closed its door, yet left so many other doors open, especially now more than ever with the Book of Bill. And honestly, I think reviving it now is the best time for Alex Hirsch. You see, when Gravity Falls was airing, you could not show these 2 cops kissing, and of course there was the whole thing with Disney censors and standards and practices.
Page 380. Please revise the action of Blubs putting his arm around Durland. As noted in previous concerns, their affectionate relationship should remain comical versus flirtatious.
Nope. They're buddies. Chill out.
The gesture is approved in this context.
And if you break the rules, we're gonna zap you.
Zap, zap! We're mad with power!
And love.
But now Disney is trying so hard to be appealing. And Disney of all is desperate for more Gravity Falls because more Gravity Falls equals more money. Remember when I said the show left so many doors open? Well, I'm about to talk about that. Quick warning, heavy spoilers for Gravity Falls real quick. You can skip to this time code if you want to avoid that, although if you haven't watched the show yet, I recommend you just do that now and come back to this video. Bill Cipher is still in Stan Lee's mind, or at least parts of him across time.
Eeny, meeny, miny. Eeny, meeny, miny. You. Later, suckers! Try and catch me, suckers! Tick-tock, kid! Tick-tock. Time's up, kid!
Wait, you can't tell if I'm winking. Look at the left. Why? Okay, later, bye!
I'm winking under my eye patch. And buy gold, bye! Look, if it makes you feel any better, the apocalypse is coming soon. Bury your gold. You would buy gold, right?
Notice how Bill's new design is broken. Did you guys know that the Stan Pine twins might have a secret third triplet? A third Stan? And it's not exactly their brother, but it is Stanford's clone. Hell, it might even be the third brother, Jeremy Pines, whose baby we saw in the flashback in A Tale of Two Stans. Also, Dipper and Mabel might have had their surnames changed due to a witness protection program of some sorts. This is all pure speculation because you can type Stanley Pines and Stanford Pines on the "this is not a website" computer, but if you type Dipper and Mabel Pines, it gives you an error. However, it works fine without their surnames. But a more likely explanation is that Dipper and Mabel's parents were getting a divorce during the summer. Do you know what that means? She took the kids, Stanley! She took the kids! Oh yeah, we might be getting a potential prequel to Gravity Falls, which was teased if you type Season 1 on the website computer, and it gives you negative Season 1 anti-Gravity Falls. But don't get your hopes up just yet, because this might just be a gag, because there's a bunch of stuff you can type on this computer and it just gives you gags. And in Lost Legends comic, there's a visual gag of journal number 4. Or is it? Yeah, it's a gag. McGucket/Fiddleford has a son, and I completely forget that sometimes until I rewatch the show. How the hell did this guy even... Mabel and Dipper are the reason Zeus works in the Mystery Shack because of that time travel episode, and Zeus's time wish might be the reason they've been alive and well this entire time, since all versions of them across infinite timelines have been confirmed to be defeated across all the 40 episodes that we watched. Maybe the universe the show takes place in is the only one where Zeus works at the Mystery Shack. I mean, that would kind of be like a grandfather paradox, and I'm too tired to even get into that. And speaking of Zeus, according to this, he is too dumb for Bill to manipulate. So in my opinion, Zeus is definitely the reason their universe survived somehow, some way. Oh yeah, Rick Sanchez and Stanford Pines were good pals across dimensions before Stanford got back to his home dimension. You probably already knew this though, since the late MATPAT covered it on Film Theory long ago. The thought that Stanford is like considered a war criminal across the multiverse keeps me up at night. Ain't all of that neat? Gravity Falls, a show that ended like 7 years ago, comes back with a book that gives you more questions than answers. It makes you wonder how we don't already have a new Gravity Falls show. There is so much story to tell. Whether it's following Stan after the finale, or following Dipper and Mabel going through teenage adolescence, or maybe following Wendy becoming an adult. I mean, Wendy felt a bit wasted. Alex Hirsch talked about a scrapped B-plot that involved her and Grunkle Stan pulling off a heist, but we never got to see that.
Wendy, we gotta talk. I saw you stealing chocolate bars and snow globes from the shack. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Pines. I know I'm in trouble. You're gonna fire me. He's like, no, you've got a gift. You're the best.
Wendy needs her own spotlight for once instead of just being a character's crush. And hey, knowing that the weirdness and supernatural doesn't just stop at Gravity Falls, there is like a plethora of possibilities to explore. With how the show ended on an open-ended note, it has such humongous potential for, I wouldn't say a continuation, since the story Hirsch wanted to tell has already been told. And I think bringing Bill back is kind of just, you know, the same song and dance, would be a little repetitive, a little overdone. And making a quote-unquote season 3 would just be going against one of the core themes of Gravity Falls and how things just don't last forever. The summer ends. So I definitely think that's not it, and it shouldn't be it. But maybe something new and kind of fresh for an already grown-up audience like Fiona and Cake. It's kind of a 50-50 chance we'll get it, but if we do, you know damn well it's gonna be amazing. Gravity Falls resurfaced with one book. It didn't take a lot for a whole community to come back and reunite together like a mafia coming to their Don's funeral. A few videos ago, I quoted C.S. Lewis saying, "A children's story that can only be enjoyed by children is not a good children's story in the slightest." Ergo, the people that came back to talk about the show were all adults. You hear that, Jack Black? Adults. Grown-ass men and women who supported this property for years. Gravity Falls is timeless. This resurfacing is a testament to just how powerful of an impression Gravity Falls left on people. Getting hundreds of thousands of millions of fans from all around the world to come back together and spark up the conversation of this show. Showing that Gravity Falls is and will always be special.
If you've ever taken a road trip through the Pacific Northwest, you've probably seen a bumper sticker for a place called Gravity Falls. It's not on any maps, and most people have never heard of it. Some people think it's a myth. But if you're curious, don't wait. Take a trip. Find it. It's out there somewhere in the woods, waiting.
So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was screaming this song. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
Hey kids, it's me, your old pal and overlord, Bill CIPHER. I'm sure you all miss me, but if you ever feel bad, just remember that I watch you while you sleep. At the end of the day, your brain is just a meat computer in a bone cockpit piloting a skin robot. You think the world makes sense? Nothing makes sense, so you might as well make nonsense. Think about it.
We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
You dudes.
I hate you all.
Thank you fellas so much for watching this video, and thank you so much on the support on that last video. I appreciate that so much. It's insane how many people watched that video. I'm at a loss for words. And as you can tell, this video is a little bit more experimental than the last one. You know, it's a lot longer. Initially it was supposed to be like 10 minutes long, and then it just got longer the more I got into this. And I'd like to say that credits go to the Roundtable. That's the guy who like does a lot of videos on cartoons, and he inspired a lot of this video. In fact, I'm pretty sure I used one of his thumbnails mid-video, so I'm pretty sure it's obvious. And credits to the Gravity Falls subreddit, of course. I wouldn't be here without you. And I apologize to the diehard fans if anything I said was debunked or false according to this and that. You know, these were all like my own personal thoughts. I'm still an upstart channel, so like expect a lot of things to change, like the way I format my videos, the way I edit the videos, you know, the editing style, the thumbnails even. So, you know, expect things to change over time as I experiment with things. And thank you fellas so much for your support. I hope you stick around for future uploads. And again, thank you so much for your support. Links to my socials and Ko-Fi will be in the description as always. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you fellas in the next video. Kablamo!
Your order is to sell 50 nuclear warheads to Hitler's frozen head in order to crash the Hollow Earth's economy financial structure.
Hello, this is BlackRock Industries. I'm Mabel.
Mabel, the plan backfired! Your brother Dipper is stuck on Epstein Island! Abort, 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 abort,
You just wondering if you got your photos printed? If you got your photos printed?